right, so let's go and do the next step, step number 4. And step number 4 is what is called the test statistic. Basically, and again, look at step 4 right here. It tells you that word, test statistic. Basically, that word, test statistic, is that you're going to use a formula to calculate a number. Now, when you're working with claims about the population mean, so somebody's claiming something is typical in the population, and the sample that you collected is small, less than 30, or you do not know the standard deviation of the population, in other words, you do not know sigma, the formula you're going to be using is this one right here. You can see this table. I gave it to you in the handout. All right. And there was a bunch of formulas. So I'm showing you which formula you're going to use for this scenario. So you can see the formula says here T instead of Z like the previous problem. That's key. Why? Because that means we're going to use a different calculator to calculate p-value later on. But main thing is it's not Z, it's T. Okay. Equal to X bar. If you forgot what is X bar, that's the mean of the sample. And when you look at this problem here, the mean of the sample was 1125. And I'm going to subtract mu, the population mean. Where did I get that number? Look at step 1, look at HO, look at mu. Mu equal 1200 over, then on the underneath this fraction, I have another fraction, S. What is S? The standard deviation of the sample. So in this case, it's 55 divided by the square root of n. Who is n? The sample size. So how many insurance quotes was collected? 7. You can see 7 is smaller than 30. That's why I'm following these. I'm going to use this formula. Okay. And now using Desmos calculator, and I strongly suggest you use Desmos calculator, I'm going to type exactly what I wrote here. So 1125 minus 1200 over 55 over the square root of 7. And you can see I got this long decimal. I'm going to round to two decimal places, so negative 3.61. Okay, if you're wondering why do I need that number is the label, this mark here. Okay, and I did step number 4. Step number 5, if you look at the steps here, it says calculate the p-value. Now, the way you calculate the p-value is using one of the calculators, statistical calculators we use in this course. And the main thing is when you're working with T, okay, look at step 4, the formula says T, the calculator you're using is not the normal, no. You're going to use this T calculator. I provided the link in the course in Canvas. And you're going to type the degrees of freedom, which the degrees of freedom is whatever your sample size is, 7 minus 1, that will give me 6. And then the T value, which is whatever answer you get in step number 4. And I'm going to click calculate. Now you're going to get 3 answers. Now, which one of these 3 is your answer, your p-value? It all depends whether you shade it in step 3. I shaded to the left. So it's going to be the second one. If I round to 3 decimal places, because that's how MyMathLab wants it is going to be 0.006. And I calculate my p-value. Check the next video to see the last 2 steps of this process.